Hello, everybody. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. And as you can tell, we are not going to sew our bags together today. I am adding more to my bag. In my scraps, I actually found this locally grown. It used to say locally grown baby because it was a baby flannel. So I'm going to put locally grown on the front of this. But I'm also doing like a garden. So what I'm focusing on this side for today with you guys, and I'm not going to stay on a really, really long time, but my halfway point is somewhere in here. So this is one side of my pouch. And I am going to show how to square the bottom in a future video. And I'm still debating whether I'm going to do the zipper after all, but I think it's important that we do know how to do the zippers. So we'll play that by ear. I'm getting a ton of notifications just coming in one after the other here, and I'm trying to get rid of them. Sorry. I have a salvage edge over here. And I know you're not supposed to do this, but I'm using it kind of as a straight edge. And I did straighten off this end of my piece, but I haven't the other end yet. And the reason I wanted to do that is I wanted to figure out the placement for this green kind of lace. I have already stitched this flower here in place. And I am planning to add beadwork to this as well. I don't know if you guys want me to... Hi, Lynn. I don't know if you guys want me to go live to show some of the beading, but I maybe can do that later. But today I was going to focus on maybe getting my lace sewn down and show you guys how I did the flower so you could see how I layered this up. And I'll show you closer. For the stem, I used rickrack out of my stash, and all the fabrics that I used to create the flowers came out of my rice bag of scraps that I have. And I'm done with my background kind of stitching, all the doodly-like stitching that's kind of holding all my layers together. This is the back of my piece. Now, a word about this. I'm really starting to think once I get all my stitching done, I may line my bag with just plain muslin just to kind of cover this, because I do have some spots where I had a knot form and I didn't catch it. So if I want to just cover all this up, I'll use plain muslin. You added some? Yes, I love to do the beading as well. And let me show you my rice bag one more time, because I've added all kinds of stuff to it. We could add words to this now. I have that little stencil that I got, and that's how I added the stitch bag. That's done with a little stencil, and I can't lay my hands on it right at this moment. I thought it was right here. My big cat may fly across the room and hit this table, and if he does, it'll make a loud noise. But anyway, it's just a small letter stencil, and I just, as I did the letters, I put them really close so it looked more like cursive writing. And I have added charms with laundry pins. Some people call them light bulb pins. And this is how I did some beading on the lace on this bag. That's a little brooch-like thing that I made. And I added buttons. And that's the kind of thing I want to come back and do after I do this additional stitching. So that is why we're not putting the bag together, because Becky can't stop adding stuff. Oh, here comes Howard. No, that's my coffee, buddy. Oh my goodness. So I wish I had some more of the fabric that had the words on it. But what I'll do is I'll just come back and embroider some words here and there as well. So this may take us longer than I thought it was going to. But I'm going to show you a bunch of different techniques on it. Hi, Mary. But for now, let's focus on this side of the bag. And I want to do all of this stitching before I put the bag together, because once you put the bag together, stitching on the bag will be a problem. Here's some hearts that I found that I crocheted. And I was thinking I'd put one on each end of the locally grown when I get to that side. And then I also found this tin, and it's got some flowers that I crocheted in some different yarns. And those would be, if I hadn't already done the applique type flowers, you could make some flowers like this and add them to your piece just to give it some dimension and texture. You could even just sew that in the middle, put a button right there, and have it stitched down. So think about things you've made that you could embellish with. If you have yo-yos and that kind of thing, these are the beads I was thinking of using here. They're seed beads. These are seed beads. And then these are check seed beads. So they're a little bit bigger. So I am planning to add some of these, but not today. Those will come up. And I'm going to put these 2 hearts back in this box so that I don't lose them. Bernadette, do you need to go back outside, or are you going to lay down? My deaf dog, she can't hear a thing I'm saying. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Brittany. So let's stitch. I want to go ahead and stitch my green piece down. I thought about doing it on the sewing machine, but everything else is hand sewed down. And I did cut through some of my stitching at the top here. You can see that. But as long as I don't rub on it really hard, it'll be fine. So let me get a bit of some kind of floss. So if we look at the color wheel, if you wanted to make your stitching visible, if you look at your color wheel, we could do some purple stitching on this green, and that could look pretty cool. And I have some purple in my needle right now, so that'll save time. And I'm just going to kind of copy the stitching that's in this lacy bit already and just stitch it down with a running stitch. And you guys can't see because I'm out of shot. I do have these, and I want some more of these. These are like the quilting clips, but they're much deeper. And these are great if you're working on a piece that's big. Of course, I've got pins in this, so I'm just going to fold this over a couple times. And I love these pins because they grab onto this really good. See? And hold all of this out of my way while I'm stitching. And I don't want to push down on this because I do have straight pins in it, and that would hurt. All right. Drop my needle. Okay, you can kind of see. I might have to just go up and down and not do it as a running stitch because this lace stuff, it's kind of hard to sew through. Harder than you'd think. Monday, I forgot to do the journal kit giveaway. So I went back and I got everybody's name from the live chat and I did a drawing. And Barbara Chicken Pot Pie won this week's journal kit. I have one left to give away. That I'll do next week. So if you want to just sit and stitch with me, I'll try to look up and watch the chat and chit chat with you for 30 minutes to an hour. While I am stitching this on, I'm just doing a little in and out stitch. It's not very even or anything, but I don't really mind. This is going to be a project bag for me. You can see they're not perfect stitches. Not really worried about it. Well, I didn't get my poop in a group, you might say, and get my citrus blanket entered into the fair. Hang on. But my son did get his 2 photographs in. And he said there was some lady there that I guess she thought she was the boss of everybody. And it turns out the guy that was actually running, gathering up all the entries, he came out and he said, it's fine. You can enter them. They were, one of his measurements wasn't within the guidelines or something. And, but the guy was like, these are beautiful photos. We're going to take and let you enter them just as they are. And, the last time I went to the fair and we were walking around, I did a video when we went to the fair and I took a bunch of pictures of the art and stuff. There was all different sizes of pieces of art and photographs. So I don't know where that lady was getting all persnickety. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how I'm stitching these. And on the part of the base of the flower here, I did a blanket stitch. And here is just a real easy diagonal whip stitch. This is a straight up and down stitch around. And then I just did a back stitch around the heart shape. And then I'm thinking of adding a button in the middle and then maybe put some beads up there. And I want to put a bunch of beads on my piece as well. I've been watching Kate in the Nest and her nests that she makes with all these, hi Renee, she's making what she calls nests out of vintage tablecloths and pieces of clothing and that kind of thing. She's kind of like K3N, but her pieces are really way elaborate. I mean, they've got everything on them, lace, pieces of, fabric where she's doing something called her rose project right now. And it's all different rose fabrics that she's combining together on a piece of old blanket is her base. So if you guys haven't watched Kate in the Nest, she might be another stitcher that you might want to, look at. Took my mother-in-law to her foot doctor appointment. She paid me the $5 to take her, which I think is really sweet, but I told her it wasn't necessary. She says, your time's worth money too. So, and she said it was too early to eat. And I tried to tell her, we eat lunch about 11:30 because we eat dinner at 4:30. And everybody said, oh, that's so early to eat dinner. And it's like, well, if we eat much later than that, then we're up all night with our stomachs hurting. So 4:30, 5 o'clock is our dinner time. All right, I need some more thread. Oh, and I was watching Dale, the lady that's doing the bears, and she pulled out her floss, and I about fell over because I think it's wonderful that she can work that way. That would drive me crazy. She had just like this bowl of all the different flosses tangled together in there. And I was like, wow, I could, it's driving me nuts. I've got some over here that's loose, but it's only 4 colors and I can clean them up quickly. I have to have things more structured. I can't. I guess it comes from being raised by my grandmother and being preached at. Have a place for everything and put it in its place. It drives me crazy. And I think it's sweet when Greg tries to help me with the dishes by unloading the dishwasher, but he never puts things in their place. He might pull them out of where the place is, so he knows where they're supposed to go, but he never puts them back there. So I end up having to look and look for stuff. No, this goes there. So I guess I'll have to go to the fair to see my kid's photographs and see if he wins anything. He said he put a price on the pieces that he entered of $125 for each of his photos. And I'm really hoping he wins a ribbon or something, or even a mention to build his confidence. He takes some really beautiful pictures. I need to frame the ones of him at the beach that he took of himself. For anybody doesn't know already, he does not use digital photography. His photos are film photography. That's what him and his friend Mary do. They go and they take pictures. My poor mother-in-law, I felt so bad for her. I got over there and I had to let myself in because she didn't hear the doorbell. So I went to the back door and let myself in. I was sitting in her lowest level. And she said, "Are you in here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I rang the doorbell, but I figured you were upstairs and I didn't want you to, rush and, you know, try to come down too fast." So I said, "I just let myself in. That's why we have the keys." That's okay. But she got down there and she said, "I need to sit a minute." And I was like, "That's fine. We've got time. No rush. They can wait for us." And she told me, she said, "These doctor's appointments, they might have to just come to an end because it is just too much for me." Felt so bad for her. She said her back was killing her trying to get dressed. And for anybody that doesn't know, she's going to be 97 next month. That is fine, Heather. As I was telling everybody a little bit earlier, this project may run a little long because Becky can't quit adding things. And I decided to do this floral arrangement with rickrack stems. These leaves I already had cut out, so I just put them down and stitched. And they're of an eyelet fabric that I used for not this year's Project Dress a Girl, but last year's. And so that's a piece of last year's. That's the little green dress that I made. Um, Not dress, but the little top and pants. That's from the top. And then the rest of these are from Project Dress a Girl dresses. So this is almost my remembrance for this year's Project Dress a Girl. I ought to stitch a Project Dress a Girl label on here. And I've got handmade labels too. I could stick one of those on and just put some labels on it. That would be fun. But I do think I might embroider some words on separate paper fabric and then stitch the fabric to my bag. That way, the words stand out because my background is quite busy now. So this is like an art journal page, on fabric. Oh, thanks for sharing Kate's channel, Mary. I've been enjoying watching her. And when I'm making breakfast these days, I watch Sonia Steptoe as well. I have some of Sonia's work, and she's in Australia, and she does the most amazing embroideries. And she showed where she had entered some of her pieces in their, I guess, uh, fair or I don't know if it was a fair or some kind of market, but she had entered a couple of her pieces. Make sure I'm not getting another knot. That's why I keep thinking I might go ahead and line my bag again with just plain muslin to hide all my imperfections of where I got thread boogers on the back. And hi, Pam. But it does the back. This is the lining fabric with all of my embroidery that I've been doing coming up through it, and it does kind of look like, I don't know, fireworks or something. I hear somebody's little dog barking its head off. If you guys don't know, and Pam sells buttons through Facebook. I've gotten some from her. and a really cute napkin with kitty cats on it. So you never know what'll pop up on Pam's page. Oh, and I got, what else did I get? I got some embroidery floss. I think I shared it back when I got it. But Pam goes to all these sales and she finds all this vintage stuff that's really cool. So you might want to check out Pam's Facebook page. And if you guys haven't seen Heather's star Afghan that she just finished, it's amazing. And how fitting it fits in the Papasan chair so well. Looks very cozy, like a good place for a nap. After I sign off here, I might need to run down to the grocery store. I thought I had cans of cream of mushroom soup in the cabinet, and apparently I don't. And I want to turn my leftover beef stew into a pot pie sort of thing. And I want to put some cream of mushroom soup in it. So I'll have to go get that. Oh, and I need to see if I've got self-rising flour for the pour-on crust that I like to make. And instead of using chicken broth, because this is beef soup, I'll use beef broth in my pour-on crust. What happened with Joyce? What did I miss? Mary's sitting and couching. She's sewing things down. She'll wait for the new to wear off and then she'll find it, Heather. She'll be like, ooh, this looks like she made it for me. And I can be the queen of the house in my own star blanket. Thanks, Mary. Mary's being my queen of links today. The queen of links. So my mother-in-law's toe apparently has healed quite well. So they were pleased. She didn't say anything about them wanting to see her again anytime soon. So maybe she won't have to go out and leave the house. The stitching is not straight in the least, and I'm not worried about it. I think that's the little chihuahuas that live behind the big fence right out the door here. I think they've let them out in the yard. Yes, that's the Pam. I'm trying to sew this 1 inch from the top, and then I'll do it again on the other end so that when I sew my pouch together, this should all meet up on each side. Hi, Carol. Carol's been doing some videos again. She's starting all over. The thought of starting all over just makes me sick. So I don't know how you're doing it, Carol. I just can't imagine starting from the beginning. Bernadette's snorting at me. I don't think she wants to be put back out in the yard. I think she's an old dog wanting to take an old lady nap in her crate on her blankie with her bumblebee toy and her towel. So she's got a towel and a blanket and a cushion in there. I think she's working herself up to a really good nap. All right. Once I get this sewn on, I'm going to show you guys how I put that flower down And I basically pinned all of my flowers in place once I decided how I wanted them to layer. And the reason the centers are all different fabrics is I didn't have enough of any one of the blues, so I just kind of mixed it up. At first, I was only going to make them like 2 layers, like do the base of the flower here, and then just have the heart and then something underneath it. But then I was like, no, I want them to have more impact. So that's why I put the red on there. And I wanted the stitching to be visible. So I had this thrifted thread here. You remember that I put on the cards. And I got 4 colors. I got 4 layers of the flowers. So I'm just using one color for the each. It's just her name, just as she is in the chat. You should be able to click on her and go to her channel. Automate Carol a mod again if she's up to it. If not, that's okay. I've enjoyed your morning walks with the pooch. Won't be long and you'll be having snow fly, won't you? Carol's like, bite your tongue. Oh. Okay, I can do that real quick. Oops. It's wanting me to give myself a heart or smiley face or 100%. Okay. Sorry, I'm sniffling. Allergies. I started another hat while sitting in the waiting room waiting for my mother-in-law. And of course, if you're doing anything by hand, somebody's going to look at you and smile or come over and say, "What are you knitting?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm crocheting a hat." Between the ages of 50 and 52 was really rough. The hot flashes. Some people have them for a lot longer. Some people have them so they never really go away. I'm glad the worst of it seems to have gotten over itself. I went ahead and started back with Paramount Plus just so I could watch Criminal Minds. And I'm all caught up with them. And then I watched another one of the Law and Order type things. I think it's Fed something. I don't remember the name. And the reason I'm taking this over the actual edge of my actual piece is so the lace will be locked in the seam. So that doesn't look too horrible. All right, so I'm going to tie a knot on the back. And that's now sewn in place and it won't fall off. And it looks rough on the back. And I'm not really worried about that. Again, I think I might line my entire bag with just some muslin. I really needed to go to the post office today, but not feeling it. I should print the label for the one package here. It's cheaper if you do it at home. You get corporate rates if you print your own labels at home. Did you know that? So I'm going to take the top off and I'm just going to move my heart over here. And then I'll take these 2 layers away. Pin them out of the way. And then I just start building my flower from the base. So I'm going to stitch this little piece on, and I used a blanket stitch in orange for that one. So I'm going to take the purple thread out. Hi, Janet Baum. And I now have a pile like Dale had at Erndale's of just mixed thread. And she's embellishing her bear. And I told her, I said, I'll catch up with you eventually. I decided to start this whole project of my own that's becoming it's becoming alive all on its own. I think I'm going to sew the bag together on the sewing machine just to save me a little time. But I want to do all my beadwork and stuff first. So I'm just going to do a blanket stitch. And I do go all the way around the piece, even though some of it is buried underneath. Y'all didn't see me do that, did you? Is it bleeding? Hope not. This purple, solid purple fabric I have on here, I think it's got some kind of polyester in it because it's really hard to get the needle through it. So I can't do the whole tilt the needle like you do to do the blanket stitch because it just does not want to come back up through. I did try to add a piece of gold filament to around the leaves, but that stuff kept splitting. So I did all the leaves and I said, what's got gold on it is fine. What doesn't, I'm not going to worry about it. Once I get past this purple piece, I can just tilt my needle and get my stitches done. I think I'll move this pin out now because I won't need that. You need to embellish your bear. You're doing a bear too? I'm just going to call mine Olive. That way I'll remember it's the Olive Bear Project. I told Scott, I said, since I made Jeff Rabbit his own name badge, I need to make Paisley Pig a name badge, and I need to look up that little fat cat's name, give him a name badge. So all my critters that I'm making have name badges. What am I going to do with all these handmade toys is beyond me, but I'm having fun make them. Oh, my hand right here, if you see the Band-Aid, that's my grandkitty did that, Piper. She decided she did not want to be held this morning. She tried to bite me and scratch me, but she didn't break the skin with the bite, but she scratched me good. Called her a little beastie and put her back down on the ground. I said, fine. Don't come looking for a handout from me. I have to be careful because I can't crunch this up because there's straight pins in it. I don't want to stab myself. Now I'm going through rickrack here, maybe. So I'm going to go all the way through, and then I'll come out the side. That rickrack made the best stems, you guys. So if you want to add stems to something, get you some rickrack. Look at the thrift stores. People don't know what rickrack is, so they turn it in at Goodwill's like crazy, around here at least. I'm trying to get this where I can maneuver it. Just getting your fabric where you want it so you can maneuver the needle is half the battle. And any stitch you make is fine. The only way to improve is to just get in here and stitch away. You can always pull it out and try again. I'm just going with, I want to stitch things down. I don't even care if they're absolutely perfect or nothing. I just want to get them stitched down. Add some fun stuff. I want to look through my metal charms too. But there's all kinds of things you can add, and you can go as crazy as you want, or you can just say, no, I want limited stuff and have it just be limited, and that's fine too. Sometimes that's harder than loading it up with a bunch of stuff. Try limiting yourself. Say, I'm only going to use 3 things on here. How many different ways can I use the same 3 things? Or what are ways to use 3 things that I can get the most dimension to a piece? See, I don't really need to go all the way here because this part's going to be underneath, but I am going to complete the blanket stitch here. All right. So then I end that color off on the back here. And I do hide the tail in the layers. And if I remember right, we switched to the dark blue. Which is here. That won't go very far. But I might hold that little piece and use it for something else. I'm going to take this piece, put the pink piece down. And then I pin this one back in place on top of my green piece right there. Oops. And this one I'm just going to do a whip strip stitch around. Oh no, what did I do with the needle? There it is. Oh. Hi, Angie. Oh, you did your bear months ago? Well, we just jumped on the bandwagon with Dale at Erndale's because she's doing a bear for her great grandniece or great great grandniece, and then she's going to do what she's calling her memory bear. That's of old fabrics from, you know, some of it's from her mother and things like that. So she's calling it her memory bear. And she said it'll be embellished a lot more than the one for the little girl because the little girl, you know, you don't want to put things that a little girl could choke on or. Oh, I've really tied it up here. Really tangled it up good. Let me back up. I hadn't had any problem doing this until I go live. And I know the cross stitchers in the group are going, you're supposed to only pull off one strand at a time and then put them back together. I know. I think my problem is I have to pay attention to what I'm doing here real quick. All right. There's one. There's 2. Okay, now I have the 2 singles. We'll put them back together so they won't do. Hi, Safia. Okay. You're determined to tangle. This is demon thread. All right. So I just put on a layer and then I just layer it up again. And that way everything's stitched on in place. Yeah, she apologized to me for calling me Mary. I don't know where she called me Mary. You're putting zip tabs on continuous zipper tape. Now, I have seen where Adam Sews uses that really cool zipper tape that looks like a zebra. I don't know where he gets that because I've never seen that in a store around here. So I have to wonder, where's he getting that? Because it's so blippin' cool looking. Just gonna, so hard to do this. I'll fold this up. And then he sometimes will do the rainbow zippers like that with rainbow zipper tabs. Do you know where he gets that stuff, Lynn? Because I don't. I think I bought everything I need to do this sling bag. It's kind of like a backpack, but it slings over one shoulder. Hi, Beth. So I think I've got everything I need to do that. So when I get caught up, because I've got a mental list of things I need to get done, and I'm working on that. My sister asked me, "How do you get so much done? How do you plan it? Do you have?" I told her, I said, "I am not a planner. I just have mental lists in my head, and I just start ticking things off. I don't write things down. I'm not a really good planner. I just want to be doing. I don't want to take the time to write everything down. I'd rather be actually doing the stuff than planning it." So you just pick a stitch for each layer and you end up with these really interesting flowers. And I think I have 4 flowers on each side, which is kind of weird for me because I love groups of 3s and 5s. But I think I got sick of looking for the fabric I needed. So this bag is only going to have 4 flowers on each side. So I figure I have at least another 2 days of sewing flowers on, because I don't know about the rest of you that stitch, but my fingers get so sore. And I have to rotate between projects. Yesterday, I started one hat 3 times. And so it took me 3 tries yesterday to get that hat I made for a friend. I got to move these. I'm going to move this back out the way. Got those a little far apart. I'm going to go with it though. I was trying to do about a 1/4 inch between each stitch and keep it. Sally Tomato. Okay, I'll have to look that up. Angie went and got meds because her back's been giving her so much trouble. I'm going to have to stand up because lifting my arms to stitch is getting to me now. My thread when I'm sewing on buttons, I've never waxed embroidery thread. Didn't even think to do that. I think, Carol, you've mentioned a thread conditioner for embroidery, didn't you? I have that too somewhere. I just don't think to use it. That would be a good idea because it would flow smoother. If I keep getting dropped around here, I may have to end. I had a hard time getting on. The first time I tried to set up my live for today, it said YouTube said it wasn't possible for me to set it up to try again. So I hit the try again and then it didn't do anything. So I just went out and started again. So there might be 2 2 live things on my channel. I'll have to look at that when I get done here. Yeah, I actually have my grandmother's wax. It's just a hunk of beeswax that she had in her sewing box, and I have a piece of that in my hand sewing box. The thread conditioner, it comes in a little tub, and I think it's called thread something. Comes in a little tub. It's like a cream. Yeah, a little square little tub. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to get some of that out to make it. Maybe that would make this a little easier. But I have been stitching a lot. Let's see how far I get here. I am putting the stitches a little closer together where they're going to be visible when I'm done. Now, if you wanted these to be poofy, you could put a little polyfill inside each little piece too. Trapunto it up. Make them pudgy. But with these long stitches like this, the whatever you stuffed with might work its way out and give a real creepy effect to it. Yeah, and I do think I want to put some words on, like just squares of muslin, and then stitch them down. This is going to be some sort of project bag for me, handwork or something. I think you're supposed to stop every once in a while and get the twist out of your thread. That helps too, so it doesn't knot on itself. I don't I'm hoping to get the cowl finished and start on some socks, because that's the whole reason I started the Monday stitch hour from 2 to 3. I don't know if anybody else has heard that we're doing that, but it's just a group of us gets together, and then we made I made the decision that we'd open it up to anybody that wants to just sit and stitch. So you could do any kind of stitching, crochet, knitting, whatever. Basically, I just wanted some knitters around while I was trying to knit this cowl that I started, because knitting is not natural to me. I'm trying to learn knitting, but I'm so fast with crochet. I think I'm caught up with my crochet projects, at least until I meet up with my sister, because she sent me a message on Facebook. Could I please make one of the hats I designed for her using some of the yarn she's been spinning? So I said, sure. I said, you're my sister. Of course I will. So we got to catch up. She recently lost a couple friends, so probably ought to try to get together. Let's see here. That's why I'm having trouble there. It's a piece of that purple fabric. I don't know what's in that fabric, but it was so hard to get all of that stitched down. And I'm not getting my angles on there like I wanted it, because I'm not going in the right direction. But that's okay. This is going to be hidden underneath. So I'm actually just going to take this to the back and knot it. And we'll lay the pink piece on. And I'm just picking stitch for each layer. Uh, and now I'm getting a message that says YouTube has been updated in the background. So maybe that's why I'm having trouble staying connected and stuff. Oh, look, I did it again. Somehow I got a booger there. Well, I'm going to trim this and hope I'm not cutting something important off. All right, so let's put this piece on here. Now the pink I did with the baby blue. I'll just put that on here. Ouch. Okay. Get a piece of the baby blue here. Oh, that's weird. Did I get a? I don't think I did. It usually comes through on my phone. If it gets really loud or the storm's going to be bad. I had messaged Scott. Back home, all's well. Let's see. Deb sent us something in our group chat. Not seeing anything about the weather. We are under a tropical storm watch for Lexington County. That's my county. Let's see what it shows here. A tropical storm watch means tropical storm force winds are possible somewhere within this area within the next 48 hours. So we could get some heavy weather in the next 48 hours, they're saying. Well, mine just, it didn't say anything was happening right away. But Aiken is just below me. It's only about an hour from me to Aiken. So let's hold on to our roofs, Lynn, I guess. The clouds are quite tall here. I mean, I was telling my mother-in-law, I said, it looks like we got some bad weather coming. And she said she didn't know nothing about it. She ain't watched any news. And Joyce is getting a lot of rain in East Tennessee. I think we might be headed to East Tennessee for our 40th anniversary. I'm going to move this out of my way so I don't have a pin there to stab me. And this one I'm just going to, oh, wow. Well, we need some rain, but did I make a boo-boo? No. I could do without the, storm force winds. That's the part I could really do without. So I just have to repeat this layering. How many more times? 6 more times to have all the flowers sewn down. Then I can do some beadwork. And I want to find my little letter stencil and just embroider some words on a piece of muslin that I'll leave large. Lesson learned. Don't try to cut your pieces small. Leave your fabric large to do your embroidery on. Then you can cut it to size when you're ready to stitch it in. I learned that the hard way because I'm trying to stitch on little pieces to put on my bear. That might be where the stencil is with the bear components. And if anybody's following Dale or whatever, she did a video where she got a little put out because somebody stole her horse pattern. And I just wanted her I need to send her a message and just say, look, you can't let one bad apple ruin it all for you, because there's a lot of us out here watching and enjoying her channel. That was so, I don't know why people think they can do that without even talking with Dale about it. Oh, it got me good. Oh. It's okay if you add blood to your own piece. It's your piece. And if you really want it to come out for something else, hydrogen peroxide. It takes the blood out of stuff. Oh, it'll bleach your fabric. No, it won't bleach your fabric. It takes the blood right out. We used to have cream carpet. Greg stabbed himself in the artery right on the top of his foot. An X-Acto knife fell out of his model that he was working on. Stabbed him right in the artery that goes across the top of your foot. Yeah. And we had cream carpet. Need I say more? And all I kept thinking as we were at the hospital getting him stitched up, if we don't get home before Scott, he's going to think one of us was murdered. Because, yeah. Nothing pumps quite as much as yeah. Which Gale, Becky? Which Gale? Dale. D-A-L-E. But I used hydrogen peroxide and got it all out of the carpet. And her channel is Erndales, E-R-N-D-A-L-E-S. But she did a video about it, and said she was about ready to quit, and I was like, oh no, you can't quit. We're all working on bears with you. Yes, it does hurt when somebody steals your ideas. And unfortunately, there are people like that in this world that don't think twice about stealing and taking credit for somebody else's hard work. Oh, I gotta stand up again. I haven't even checked to see what's coming in the mail. There must be something under there. So I'll have to go all the way to the back. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think I will line my bag, just so things don't get caught in my stitches on the inside of my bag. So I guess I'll be showing you guys how to add a lining to a bag that's not really supposed to be lined, because we've put all this work in. All right, well, my hour is just about up. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And then I'll put this little bee back on here, and I'll do a back stitch like I did on this one around in here. And how fitting, it has a little ladybug on it. So that is what I'm going to keep doing. And I'm not going to promise when we're going to put the bag together, because apparently I don't know that. So I'm going to back you guys back up, and I'm just going to open this back up so you can see the full piece and the layout and the plan. Let me poke this in here. I need to take a break anyway because my fingers. I'm going to look these up because these are awesome. The real deep ones. I have a bunch of the little ones, but these are awesome for a project like this. Thank you, Mary. So I'm going to do some more words. This was just, ouch. This is just something I found in my scrap bag. So my halfway point's like right here. And I'm going to keep stitching all these down. I get the flowers all stitched down and this other piece of this stuff here stitched down. But I'm going to have to square off my end. And then once I get those squared, I'm going to fold it in half and make sure my sides are all trimmed even. And then I'll be ready to put it together as a bag. But I want to add beads. Might even put some sequins on this bad boy. So it's coming together. I don't know what else I could do to make the flowers stand out. I almost feel like, I don't know if I need to go around them with something. You know what I could do is ink tints and create shadows on the flowers with my ink tints. I could do that, couldn't I? And just make it look like there's a shadow underneath the flowers. Something to think about. So everybody that's playing along with this, I hope you're still having fun. They stole her design of a horse, that a picture of, well, it's a wall hanging, and she did it of a horse they used to have, and she did it all out of denim, all different kinds of denim. The thread that created his mane was denim that she had taken apart thread by thread to create the mane. And apparently the picture has been shared all over Pinterest, and this one person decided that she was going to draw up a pattern and offer it up. And there is no pattern. This was something she created herself. She put in all the work of creating this memory of a horse she had. And this other person decided that it needed to be out there as a pattern. So yeah, she was not happy. Yeah, I have some flowers that I did crochet, but they don't match. But I do have the little thread hearts that I like to crochet. And I thought I'd put that on either end of the locally grown like that. And that way I don't have to tuck those ends in. I can just stitch down the side of that. And then I could just stitch those hearts on there. But I want to put some other words on in the more open places, like put a word here and here. I don't know. It's all designing as I go. So that's why I say I can't. But I do have these flowers. These were made with a yarn that I could not crochet with because it just kept falling apart. It was more like what Beth uses, felting. So I could probably put this in hot water and felt it all together and then use it. So see, I could even add some of these if I wanted to fill in some of those spots instead. But again, I don't know if it really goes. I have a number of them because I just used up. Could put it on the patches that don't have flowers maybe. That actually goes pretty good there. Maybe put one there. But I have quite a few of those. I think it's almost getting to be too much. So yeah, play with your creativity. If you know how to crochet some flowers, you could add flowers or hearts. I might make some more hearts. I have more of this thread. I could make some more pink hearts to go. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Bye. Happy stitching.